But I came from a very rough road, very, very rough road. And I just want to cut it short. My father died when I was 9 years old. Mama had 6 children. She couldn't take care of us. So they divided up the children. One of my brothers went to Tacarigua Orphan Home, who's a big businessman in Miami now. And I went to live with an uncle who was an alcoholic. And after going to high school, I just went to high school for a year and a half. And I was suspended 5 times. So I ain't going to go down that road tonight, to tell you. But I tried to kill my uncle. And at the age of 15, I had to leave the house. I ended up on the streets and I fell in their hands with the wrong people. I fell in their hands with a group of men who used me. And I was involved in 8 major robberies in this country. 3 of the men I was with was executed. I was heavily hooked on drugs. They did not know what to do with me. Nobody wanted me. So at the age of 17 and a half, going to 18, I was taken to the Salvation Army Night Shelter for Men in Downton Street. That is why I used to live in Oksana, Tomboy. You know, I used to live there paying 25 cents per night, sleeping on a bunk, no pillow, no mattress. 2 of my associates, one from Lavender Kilkudi and Dr. Rat, the notorious man, I used to carry his bag. And I cannot go into details of all the things I was involved in. I was thrown out from the Salvation Army because I broke all the laws. I had no one to go to. So I became a vagrant in Woodford Square. That is where I used to live. Sleep on cardboard boxes, never shower, wear rubber slipper, sleeping in the park, actually eating from bins. Twice they took me to St. Anne's. They thought something was wrong with me, but I knew nothing was wrong. I used to shower in the public bathroom there in Woodford Square. Carried potato bags for 10 cents at the George Street Market. I used to rhyme calypso words with that old calypso name all round up for a piece of cake. All right. But one morning in 1967, I got up very frustrated, very depressed. Never shower for days. I walked into the George Street Market and I said to myself, I'm going to lock somebody's neck and I don't care what the outcome will be. Apostle, I walked in there, when I tipped over, there were about 25 people that morning. I saw a white girl sitting on a stool with a black book in her hand. And she gazed up and she said, the man to the back with the long hair, Jesus sent me to you. I had a rubber slipper in my feet. I looked over my shoulder to see which man she was referring to, because I didn't consider myself as a man. Didn't eat for days, never shower. I could hear the crowd whispering, hold your bags. She said, the man to the back with the long hair, Jesus sent me to you. When I was convinced she was referring to me, in my carnal mind, I said, well, today the lucky day. A girl from America, come here, I will marry a white girl and go to America. You know, that's how I was thinking. I eat for days. And it was the first time in many years I ever heard somebody love me. She said, Jesus loved you. He gave his life to you. I never went to church, never brought up in any religious background. The name of the game was survival. Heavily hooked on crime. 1966, together with 3 men, stripping a car on the banks of the Caroni River. One was killed, I was escaped. So she said, please come forward. The way I was smelling, I didn't have to ask for excuse. The crowd was put aside. I knelt on the concrete in 1967, Apostle. I knelt down and repeated a short sinner prayer. Lord Jesus, I said it after her, come into my heart. Please forgive me. Just simple. And everybody was tiptoeing, looking at me, thinking it was a joke because they knew I was from Woodford Square. When I got up, chains like was broken. I felt transformed, liberated, like if I was walking on air. She identified the church she came to in Dallas Street, said meet me there on Friday night. I rushed back to Nelson Street. One of my associates, I used to be a member of the Applejackers, One Hand Teddy. He said, come. I said, not now. Jesus got a hold of me. I rushed to Queen Street. I used to sit by the mosque on Friday and put out my hand. I ain't ashamed to tell you, that's how low I got. Rushed back. to the Salvation Army, knocked on the door. The major who put me out came out. He slammed the door in the face. I was so persistent. He opened the door. He said, what you want now? You gave us so much problems. I said, I give my heart to Jesus. He said, I don't care who you give your heart to, you're coming back here. I was so persistent. God was in the working. He opened the door with a trolley, took me in, they cut my hair. They gave me an enamel plate. God blessed that plate. If he had an enamel in it, had a big hole. They gave me back the bunk. I went on the street. I used to pick up cigarettes on the ground and smoke. Somebody asked me if I still smoking. I said, no, I get promotion on fire now. I got on the streets and started shouting, Jesus saved. I never read the Bible. People looking at me, they knew the man I was. They said, what church you from? I didn't know the difference. I said, Presbyterian. Got on the streets. You know, I used to sell nuts. I was the biggest nuts man in town. In those days, 5 cents a pack. I had one of the most famous slogans. Nuts 5 cents a pack. You don't like it, give me back precious salt. You don't like it, it's not my fault. You know? That was my slogan. I tried everything. So I was preaching on the streets in Frederick Street, corner Queen, and Frederick Street. It was the drugstore called Russ Drugstore. I stood up there preaching with a rubber slipper. I noticed a young man looking at me very attentively. So he walked up to me one day and he stared me down. He said, you know me? I said, no, I can't remember you. He said, my name is Samad Shah from Shabonas. I said, oh, you the man starting up the ball here. I walked on a mark on my back. You see, if I give my heart to Jesus now. So he befriended me, came in the Salvation Army, saw me, and he said, listen, I want to invite you to my church in Shabonas, Montrose. I said, that's a good idea. I never saw my mama for 15 years. Never saw her. So I took up my bag. I had an 8-cent bag, one shirt on me and the other shirt without buttons at 26 cents. And a man gave me a Bible in Isabeli without covers. I took a bus and I went down Shabonas. I went to see my mama. My mama never went to school. From the old Indian background. I said, Mama, I got saved. She said, where you went swimming? I said, no, Mama. I gave my heart to Jesus. She said, well, if you're coming to stay here, you can't stay here. The police came looking for you last night in connection with a gas station robbery. And I want to go in that direction. She said, but your stepfather wouldn't want you. There was a church having a revival close by. And I told this story. I've been to 45 countries around the world, you know. And I jumped in on a tell you from Woodford Square. So I went into the church. There was a revival going on. There was a window. I would pretend it was closed. And every night when service done, 11 o'clock, I would go over the fence, try to open the window and sleep. Saturday morning, the caretakers, they were suspicious somebody was sleeping in the church. In those days, they had a maroon cloth, you know, a holy, sacred cloth. They couldn't stop in it, and the white cover up there 4 o'clock in the morning. Here come the caretaker with a cook stick and a torchlight and a little son. She was suspicious somebody was sleeping in the church. And when she flashed the torchlight on me, the little boy said, Mommy! Daddy boy from Port of Spain, the man, the poor man. She took me up, and she took me to the home next door, and she said, I'm going to adopt you. She introduced me to the pastor. I got baptized. I was 19 years old. So look, they told me this gray hair fool you know. No, I'm not preaching for 51, going 52 years. I'm that old. I know the gray hair is a matter of concern. Because people feel when the hair getting gray, getting old. But I need a prayer, Troy. I said, Lord, I pray as I go along the way, as my hair gets gray, don't let it go, let it stay. I don't care what color it gets. I'm speaking of the Lord. I don't care what color it gets. But I said, Lord, even though I get bored, I'll still fulfill my call. So when I got baptized, I became the janitor of the church. That is how I started, you know. I was the janitor of the church. At that same time, my wife came in the church. She was 17 and throwing it up. I have to be careful because my wife died 45 years of marriage last year. Last month was 1 year. She came in the church. She already had 5 London GC in Cambridge. And you know that is high ranking day. At a young age, she got a job at the savings bank in Rice Road upstairs the post office. Troy, she saw me and she liked me. Everybody told her, don't mess with me. She said, no, but the man gets saved. The man could preach, but I really couldn't preach. I could have ball good. You see, God was training me when I was selling nuts. I could have ball nuts here because I hear me quite nobody could say. I think God was preparing me. She took me to her father's house. I found favor. She married me. So and my wife told me, I'm getting look at my emotional person. She said, Harry, I'm going to work. I don't have any education. I never went to any school of theology. She said, I'm going to work and send you to preach. And for 14 to 15 years, my wife was a senior officer, industrial aid officer, at Riverside Plaza. She was the officer in charge, San Fernando, no big money, brother. But she worked and sent me to preach. Nobody wanted me to preach. Nobody invited me because I didn't go through the system of the thing, no Bible school preaching all over. I had a little board house, outhouse toilet, 3 seats I galvanized. My wife is so David and she never complained. My wife still with me. She woke. I take care of the kids. While sweeping the bank, sweeping the church, a man came up to me one day. He said, son, you could sweep? I said, yeah. Mr. Bujan, he was from Summit, Tunapuna. He said, they're opening a bank in Shogunas called Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. And my daughter will be working there. The head branch is in Tunapuna. If I give you a recommendation, I give you some clothes, don't worry, I will preach. And I hope to give TV special because I was on TV a long time. Some of you who remember when I tell you that. In those days, in the 90s, I had the biggest audience because there was only one channel. They couldn't take me out. Like the 8 o'clock, they were trying to say quarter over 6, couldn't take me out. The man gave me a black pants, a white shirt, and a thin little tie. I don't want to sweep. I want to preach. So every time I'm sweeping the church and I see somebody, I put in the broom in the back and I hide it there. The man gave me a recommendation. I went up, took the interview. I got the job to sweep the bank, empty the bins. $5 a day, I would sign a voucher. I'll come down to Tunapuna, to the headquarters here, bring all the vouchers, preaching in the night, and one day I saw them placing saving cards. So while they got on the machines, in those days, bank is open half day on Saturday, they have a computer, the staff was small, and I started doing it. I saw the working saving interest. So the manager came to me and said, Harry, you're fooling me, boy. Like you used to work in a bank. I said, no, I want to rob a bank. I said, let me see your handwriting. He said, you have to write good. So you will come on the counter and help you open new accounts. I start placing saving cards. I sweep in bank, you know. I start opening new accounts, and it's there where I nearly lost my job. Because while opening the accounts, a man came on the who's a stocker. And I take in the application. I said, what is your name, sir? And he said his name plain. He said, Denali, which is true. I say, what is your profession? And then he started, and I find saying long to put police, and after that, he said, Kana. I said, are you making a mistake? So after all that, I told the manager, Mr. Bobby Shepherd, I said, listen, to check money too, you know. So they gave me a chance. I worked at the bank for 5.5 years, 6 years. Became the man in charge, coin teller. Area manager, Mr. Raptor, heard that, came down, interviewed me, was so impressed. Bought all the books to send me to school. He said, I've never seen a man excel like that. It was the wisdom of God. I only went to school a year and a half. And in 1971, I gave up the bank work. I was rising higher. I got my first pastorate in 1991. And from 91 to now, I never held a secular job. All I do is preach. They put me to this church in Point de Pierre. There was a very high standard of people working there. I'm in the little church, New Testament Church of God. I stayed with them for 25 years. I just preach in the one right in my door, and the wrong way. The other day, his father funeral. So, I was bachelor and I was very concerned. I was living in a little room, right? Like before I get married, you know, I don't want to mix it up. So I passed in this church. But I could see those girls giving elbow and I'm preaching, like married. And then when my wife fell in love with me, I said, look, we're going to get married. I told the church one Sunday, have a surprise. They thought it was a guest speaker. I brought Dolly. When I introduced Dolly, 15 young ladies leave the church. I ain't getting no more Dalbury, I ain't getting no Alupai. I know why. But I got married. My wife would support me 45 years. We traveled, God opened doors all over Europe, Norway, Sweden, France, Austria, Italy, all over the world I traveled and preached. One of the highlights of my ministry, I was given the opportunity to preach at Brooklyn Tabernacle in Brooklyn. 6,000 people came out. Nicky Cruz preached one night. I preached one Sunday night. 450 people from the streets they invited because of my testimony came forward and accepted the Lord. Last year, I just did a funeral at the crematorium there. My wife was not feeling well Saturday night. I usually preach 3 times on Sunday. I preach at my church and go other churches. My wife got a heart attack. 10 o'clock in the night, she passed away. All these people, I have not yet recovered. From the death of my wife to now, I lost 50 pounds. He was a very large man. As a matter of fact, they said I was a member of the FBI. I told them that. They said, what you mean by that? I said, fat belly Indian. But I don't know. It's like I really miss my wife. Knowing the connection I have, look at this man here. See this fella here? Some here. This fella is to me a member of the notorious Young in Lavender. He used to be one of the men who used to carry the drugs. I ain't making up that, but he had time to tell you. He came up Enterprise. He was the associate of the notorious Robocop, living next door. Shot people shot at him. When he walked into the church a year and a half, he saw my wife within a Bible study. My wife had an imbalance problem. She used to walk with a stick. She was strong in the Lord, brother. Nothing. When we met church with her many years ago, she had an imbalance problem. And this man gave a heart to the Lord. My wife encouraged him to get married. Got married, I baptized him. He's a faithful brother. Year and a half, he will drive me anywhere I want to go. He will take me all the way silent. Thank you. My wife gave me 4 lovely children. She resigned her job to take care of the children. My eldest daughter is a reverend in the United States. She was a nurse here. I sent her to further her studies. In a nursing degree, she called me one day, brother, and she said, Daddy, I needed the nursing and I was ready to do practical in Georgia. I said, why? She said, I'm going in the ministry. I said, what? I said, how are you going to make out? She said, same way you make it out. She met a young man who also had a desire for the ministry. Both of them went to Antioch Bible School. They were ordained. They were missionaries in Russia for 4 years. They were in Durban, South Africa for 3 years. I was there with them at some major crusades. My second daughter is the head of the department at the ladies' hospital, the head anesthetist at Mount Hope. I was asking my wife, he said, oops, over there, Dr. Ramkissoon. My daughter was the boss of the former first lady who was an anesthesia too, Mrs. Richard. And then my eldest son, He wanted to come tonight so bad that he couldn't come. Troy met him. He became the youngest eye surgeon specialist in this country. He's a consultant in San Fernando, cataract specialist. He just took a year off last year, went to McGill, specialized in another area, and he's one of the few men who do cornea transplant now. So today all day he wanted to come. My last son, we had a heart for him. He went astray. We sent him to the culinary school, Shagarama's 3.5 years. He did well, associate degree. I sent him to Italy. And then I sent him to one of the biggest culinary schools in America, Johnson and Wales in Miami, where Emerald and Bobby Clay went. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in culinary art and hospitality management. He couldn't get the work permit renewed because of what's going on. I did not want him to stay illegal. That's not my style. That's not the way I grew up. So I brought him back home and he just got a job as a chef. I live with 2 boys. They live with me by the church. We have a place. But brethren, I say all that to say this. Look where God gave me for good which way. Look where God gave me from. How God has blessed me. Is there anything to have for God to do? Jesus is responsible for everything. I give credit to my wife. She resigned her job and I saw her where she would take the stick and empty their bags and she would tutor them and teach them. She was everything to them. My wife was my mother. I never grew up with parents. She was my advisor. You know, I'll prepare my message. Look, privately by a friend church at Holiness Revival, 26 years. Right? Yes, he's the one who told me about you. And my wife, I preach in all those big conventions, and my wife would say, Harry, we are preaching one boy. When I tell her, she said, I'll go wrong, you know why? Honestly, she said, Harry, that is something good. Don't be in that church, have people of high standing, and she will correct my message. She will correct it. She always look out for me. And she used to say, I hear you make a statement you're preaching in that church up there. That statement I write, you know, you mustn't say it so, say it so. Me, it takes you on. I keep saying it. She says, see me, I fed up with you. Say what you want to say, because what you say, what can. People still getting saved, people still getting fed. So be yourself and say what you want to say. The connection with my wife was so strong. I don't think time will heal me. I'm a working man, I'm breathing. I miss my wife dearly. But if there's one thing my wife wants me to do is preach, and I'll keep preaching. That's what I do. Get your Bibles quickly.